Well, good Saturday afternoon to everybody. Sorry about yesterday. I wasn't feeling the best, but I'm getting there. I'm still not 110%, but we're still trucking along. So last month we talked about how strong your passwords are, virtual IP address. Hi, Sally. I'm feeling a little bit better. Getting there. And then we talked about some of the apps that have some malware that is also inside of it. So the US rolled out a lot of AI stuff lately, and that's going to be a topic towards the end of the show. But there's a new, what they call a DLL variant, it's dynamic link library. They're using the search order for that technique as a hacking device to bypass the security mechanisms and put malicious code on systems that are running Microsoft Windows 10 and 11. It leverages the executables commonly found in what are trusted operating system or OS Windows files and exploits them with a classic dynamic link library in order to hijack the cybersecurity from the system itself. While it's more prominent in gaming systems, DLL files are embedded in every computer operating software. So that's something that having an updated antivirus, malware, constantly making sure every day or every couple hours, depending how much you use your computer and you're on the internet, make sure you are constantly doing virus scans. Trojans aren't nearly as hard to get rid of as they used to be in the past. Worms are. Worms infect a whole bunch of different files throughout the computer. They're hard to get rid of. And that a DLL file getting a worm would be catastrophic. It could shut everything down, and they can take advantage of your entire system in the long run just with putting malware on the inside of a DLL file. As far as vulnerability, the thing that's come across the news lately for computer geeks such as myself is another malware using the Google multi-login to exploit and maintain access to your accounts despite if you set your password. So if you have a Google account and you have a multi-login or two-step authentication factor to keep it safe, depending what is downloaded, if you are keeping it in your Google Drive, in your OneDrive, in the cloud that has access to your Google account, the multi-login is the user sessions and allows continuous access to Google services even after your password is reset. They automatically get a notification that the password's reset. They're already in there. Good luck getting them out. You'd pretty much have to shut down the entire thing and then start fresh again. Thank you, Sally, for sharing it out. So that vulnerability as far as the Google multi-login or the two-step authentication process, we really, really need to be careful about what we are putting on our cloud, our Google OneDrive, Google Meetings, Messengers, things like that. The technique was first revealed by a threat actor, quote unquote actor, named Prisma on the 20th of October of this last year on their Telegram broadcasting channel. And since then, it has since then incorporated into various malware as a service, stealer families. So they're cloning it basically. So they're cloning it as being called Rise Pro, White Snake, Steel Sea, Medusa, Rada Smithens, and Luma. It is one that is easily caught as long as you are using something such as Google Chrome, i.e., Google Chrome is a browser. It's not a quote unquote failsafe. As long as you only have your Google account set up on Chrome, which Google owns Chrome, they have put a token encryption in there to catch everything that has to do with this new Google OAuth endpoint multi-login hacker. So with them looking at that and constantly scanning it, it's another way of keeping your stuff secure. So essentially, if you're using Internet Explorer, hi Gerald. So essentially, if you're using Internet Explorer and you're logging into your Google account and you're using the two-method authentication, and this hacker, perhaps you watched something they shared on TikTok on your computer, it's now vulnerable. It's been attacked because Internet Explorer does not have the crossover capacity that Chrome does. If you're an avid user of Google like I am, I constantly use Chrome. Chrome is, in my book, it's smoother, it's safer. As long as you have your settings set right, and somebody sends you something on social media in your private message. Hey, follow this link. I just got it sent to me. You click on it. 9 times out of 10, if it's a malicious, harmful, or suspicious site, it's going to flag it right away. It's not going to let you load it. Same thing if you have your internet malware and antivirus running in the background. It's going to flag it right away. It's not going to let you load it. Another thing is people that are in business, they do a lot with Microsoft Word, or they take PDFs and they convert them over to Microsoft Word documents. There's a decoy Microsoft Word documents being used to deliver NIM-based malware as well. So it's a phishing campaign, and phishing, I'll put it in on a banner, how it's spelled. Phishing is actually spelled with a PH. So this kind of phishing is very, very detrimental. Essentially, it's a campaign leveraging a decoy Microsoft Word documents to bait to deliver backdoor written in the NIM programming language. And I'm not going to go into the quote unquote NIM programming language because a lot of people won't understand it. It's written basically in an uncommon programming language that puts the security community at a disadvantage as researchers and reverse engineers. So essentially, the person that wrote this malware and this decoy has written it in a language that researchers that look for this kind of stuff in the cybersecurity industry cannot understand it. They can't decipher it. It's taken them too long. And if they can't research it to figure out how it is come about and how it's put together, as far as the spine and the nervous system of the malware, then the reverse engineers of that, like Norton Security people and McAfee, the people that sit there and build their anti-software and anti-malware, the reverse engineers then can't create and manipulate parts of their programming to keep everybody else safe. So the biggest loaders of these are NIMSA loader, NIMBDA, IceX loader, and two actually really high profile ones that have to do with gaming. They have also had malware, Trojans, worms, and ransomware families tracked under their social media, also social media, TikTok, Instagram, all of those, was Dark Power and Canty, KNTI. Those two, if you watch them on any type of site, get rid of them because they are infecting stuff worldwide with their gaming stuff and with their internet content creations. So that's a huge issue. One other thing I really wanted to talk about is our kids' safety, as far as getting on the internet and apps and things like that. Of course, anybody that has TikTok knows that's pretty sketchy as far as the stuff they should be watching on that as well. But there are things out there like kids YouTube. You have innuendos. You have where they're like, click over here, subscribe, and then it takes you to an adult website. It's scary to think that people are doing that to our kids, but it's happening. Apple and I am not a fan of Apple by no means. Um, it's just a personal preference for me. Apple had rolled out Happy Kids, is the app. And when they go through that, every content that's posted for Apple for Happy Kids, they have people go through every video and watch it. And if it's safe, it's not derogatory, it's not hateful, racist, anything like that, then it's allowed to go on the app system. YouTube Kids, however, runs a lot like YouTube. You can put your own content, your own material up there, and as long as the algorithms don't catch it, it's free game. And it's scary. Um, I've have my kids' stuff set appropriately to age, and I learned since that I have to even go below, like years below. And my 5-year-old, I have him set at 2 right now, just for the simple fact the stuff that's coming across. And he's really starting to get into watching people games. So like Minecraft and things like that. Okay, it's fine if he's watching somebody play and there's not commentary. If there's commentary, we have to watch who and listen for what they're talking about in the game. For the simple fact is, things slip below the radar. And there's several times I will have to say, hey, dude, next video. And then I'll go back later and I will block whoever the content creator is on the app. Same scenario as far as Facebook. Um, this happened like a month and a half ago. One of our other shows on the Common Denominator Truck, it got hacked. And they made it look like it came strictly from Facebook. When the individual clicked on the link, it took them to a Facebook copyright page. Well, we didn't have no copyright warnings, but this person sent the message out with a link. It was infiltrated that quick. As soon as the link was clicked, all that background data behind there within milliseconds went out, infected the entire account, and the individual had access. Resetting the password did not work. Ended up having to shut that Facebook page down and create a new one. 9 times out of 10, if you get shut down on Facebook, they are going to tell you. They are going to email you to your personal email that is to your account that you log in with Facebook. If you have a business page, quote unquote business page, or a podcast page, things like that, you are going to see a notification when you log into the page under Meta Business Suite. Any information will be sent directly right there. I do a lot of music on my end with the Paramystic when we have the Paramystic Church, and I have recorded personally the hymns for that, and I played them, and we get a copyright warning. I have to then sit there, message Facebook back and say, hey, I want to dispute this. They're playing it in churches all across the world. It's not quote unquote copyrighted. It is free use. It's a worship song, and nobody's singing in it, obviously. It's not like I'm playing Johnny Cash or something like that, somebody world renowned. I am essentially playing a song on the organ. Then I send that in, and then my copyright part goes away. They are not going to privately message people in Facebook Messenger. They will actually flag your Meta Business Suite message, email message in there, excuse me, and they will get a hold of you that way. So like If I know Sally does this a lot when underneath my angel wings on Facebook, she has a page and she'll play music in the background. If somebody raises a concern, or if the algorithms did, once she logs into underneath my angel wings, if she looks over on the left hand side at the top, it'll say at the very bottom of that, it'll say Meta Business Suite. And that's where you can see how many viewers you have, what your ratings are, people that have messaged the page, and anything from Facebook. If it's your personal Facebook page, they're not going to message you in private messenger. They don't have the time to sit there, go through it all, try and message you. It's easier for them just to email what is on your account for the login email. The reason I say that is because how people have their settings set up on who can message them, who can't, who can see such and such stuff I post and who can't. If they send me a message and I'm not friends with them, it automatically goes to my spam folder. Do you know how many months, years go by before I see that in my spam folder? Quite a while. So I'm not going to be adequately informed. Therefore, there's no point in sending a private message. They're just going to send it to your regular email associated with the account. So we all know that AI is a huge, huge, huge issue. Artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence within the next, I'm gonna say, I agree with Tech.co's assessment on it. AI is going to end up replacing 2.4 million jobs in the US by 2030. That's 6 years from now. AI remains a threat to the white collar workers, yes, but technology is likely to reshape far more than just the white collar portion of our economy, and I see this spreading throughout the world. So essentially, if everybody goes back to the days of AOL dial-up, how slow the internet was, it seems like that was back when the dinosaurs roamed the earth. But if you actually think about it, it's been less than 20 years. That's where we're at. That's how fast the internet has blown up. And that technology, they can't put a bridle in its mouth and rein it in because it's constantly evolving. So it's keeping everybody constantly on its toes. So when they enacted the free access to information and stuff like that, now everybody can get it. And that opens the door for a lot of sketchy folks to get in all manner of speaking. So it's going to be the same way with AI. I'm reminded of the Will Smith movie I, Robot. That's honestly the easiest projection that I can see. AI is set up to constantly gain intelligence, gain new programming, make things work more efficiently. Okay, so I am going to go down a list here of what jobs, the top 10 jobs that AI will end up replacing in the near future. And folks, it's already there. The AI is already there. They just have to finalize the next move into making it full artificial intelligence. You call in someplace and you're talking to a computer. That is AI. Okay, so we have number one, customer service representative. Okay, they're becoming more automated. Tools like chat bots or virtual assistants are AI. Advancements like self checkouts also make human workers less relevant in grocery stores and stuff like that. The thing is, like over here, Walmart, places like that, grocery stores, when you go in, you have self checkouts. Well, number one, that self checkout is AI. It's scanning your face, it's scanning your hand movement, it's watching the UPC symbols. It is a form of artificial intelligence. And then on top of that, it's going to take a long time for this, but I already know that they are working on a semi truck that is a self-driving. It's still in the testing phases and stuff like that, but there are going to be more improvements in autonomous vehicles. You're not They're going to reduce the need for human drivers, impacting all of the people in both taxi and rideshare industries. In fact, Uber has partnered with self-driving car companies like Waymo and Aurora to give its riders more options, potentially setting up a conflict with human drivers. So we see that. And yes, computer programming. Soon we're going to have computer programming being taken over by AI. They're going to run and do all the coding, all the techie mumbo jumbo that goes into writing programs. And with the other flip side of that, somebody is going to find a way to use AI to come up with a super virus. I see it happening. If they can write operating software language and program computers, they can program pretty much anything. We are already using AI for research analysts. Doing financial analysis, when we run them through a computer, that's artificial intelligence coming up with what our probables are, what our financials are, things like that. Machine learning has the ability to process large volumes of data, detect problems, and organize its findings into convenient visuals for the individual and placing it on a screen for them. The AI ideal for quickly delivering industry insights to teams without the need for human intervention is going to be a huge selling point. The other one that's going to take place is a paralegal. Paralegals are ones that put your court documents together for your lawyer. Basically, they essentially write all the legal reports, gather facts for a case, and sort through documents and conduct quote unquote legal research. This can all be done by AI. And with artificial intelligence to have the wide range it has the ability to process massive amounts of complex data. I could see a lot of big law firms getting rid of their paralegals and making that role obsolete one day. I mean, we're talking, these are the 10 businesses that are going to be at risk in 6 years. I don't really agree with this one just because it does take human interaction, but factory and warehouse workers, there are a lot of machines in factories that are robots. That's artificial intelligence. Yes, they are programmed by a computer. They know the exact spots. No, they're not going to try and take over the world, i.e., but it's a machine taking over a place where a human's footsteps could be standing there doing the job. Financial traders. That's going to go into it to predict market trends and while remaining more accurate than human workers. So people will likely trust an AI financial trader versus going down and talking to someone face to face and invest their money. They're going to look at, hey, this computer can crunch huge amounts of information. We can track its ups and downs. They can do all that in a minute, and your trading costs are going to be a lot lower. And financial trader roles are going to disappear. Travel advisor, your travel agents, when they tell you, hey, you should go here, let me set it all up for you, AI can do that. You can do that right on the phone talking to AI. Content writer, writers in Hollywood, things like that. You can tell this program to do this stuff, and it's going to come up with something. You tell it what information you want for the next novel, print it out whenever it's done. The one that drives me absolutely crazy, because I love doing it and it sucks that it's going to happen, graphic designers are in direct competition with AI generated art, especially since the ability to produce the kind of art is available to the public. Like, anybody can use the programs I use. It's just how I manipulate them and things like that. Tools like Lensa and DALL-E make it easy to create professional images without artistic expertise. So it's like 3 steps down from what I use, but anybody can use it. So as a result, businesses and individuals are going to depend less on graphic design services to produce eye-catching visuals moving forward, and then turn around and switch it all over to AI. So essentially what they are saying is these are the ones that are going to be hit the hardest. Legal occupations are going to take a 78% hit. Life, physical, and social sciences occupations, I could honestly see that taking a big hit as well, along with office and administrative support, computers and mathematicals, healthcare practitioners, and technical occupations. I can see that because during the pandemic, we had virtual doctors, virtual nurses. Everybody goes to WebMD. Everybody, searches across the board on Google what their symptoms are and stuff like that. Agricultural and engineering occupations. Yes, the reason I say that as far as agriculture and is because they're coming out with autonomous tractors. We already have tractors that will drive themselves with you in the cab and stay within a 5-note line. But they are coming up with autonomous tractors that you push a button on your phone, the tractor drives out, hooks up to the plow, goes out to the field, knows its parameters, does the disking, fertilizing, plants, and off it goes. Architecture. You're not going to have an architect anymore. It's all going to be done by artificial intelligence. You put in and essentially tell them exactly what you want the building to look like. Guess what? It's going to come up with what they want the building to look like. Art, design, and entertainment, like graphic arts. It's going to be essentially the exact same thing as what I talked about earlier of the graphic arts going bye-bye. It's all going to be done by AI. Management solutions are going to be another one. So HR, things like that, they're not going to have that human component. So if I go into work and I have to put into the computer, hey, I want X amount of days off because such and such is going on and I have to go to the doctor or whatever. No, we need you to work. Denied. Okay. 2 years later, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I need these days off because of a death in the family. No, we need you got to work. They don't have that emotional companionship as a human being and that empathy to understand. So you don't have any buffer zone, so to speak. Educational instruction and library, that's already done as well. We have a lot of educational stuff being run by AI. ABC Mouse is one of them. Audible, and Amazon as far as library occupations where you can get all your books and stuff like that. I don't know if I quite get the food preparation and serving related occupations, just for the simple fact is, yeah, I may be programmed how I like my steak, but I highly doubt it's going to have that quote unquote human touch, the chef touch. Sales and related, yes, we already see that when we can just order whatever we want. I call down to the local pizza delivery place down here, and it's all automated over the phone. They take my entire order and they print it out to one guy in the kitchen, and he makes all the pizzas at the Casey's here. So essentially, that's already gone over to AI. Healthcare support, I don't know what they're meaning like that, or if they're talking about telehealth or telenurse or doctor or something like that. I could see that happening. Personal care and service, I don't see AI cutting my hair or giving me a filling or anything like that. So I don't essentially see that part of it. I don't see AI giving me a massage or doing somebody's nails. So essentially a lot of businesses are going to be hugely impacted by this. So if we're talking, okay, unemployment rates now versus 2030, it will be very interesting to see how this pans out. For the simple fact is, technology is being unleashed. You got a fake computer, artificial intelligence running 98% of what's going on, and some of the highest paid, most lucrative careers going bye-bye is honestly astronomical. I mean, what are all these people that spent 10, 15 years in college going to do? I lost my job to, the old compact computer we've had in the back for 20 years because they gave it a program update. It's honestly scary. And who's to say it won't go any further? I mean, artificial intelligence running government offices. Essentially, it can happen. It may not be your representative, your congressman, your senator, or, running the White House, but there's other stuff that goes into it, pages, lobbyists, all can be done by AI. Receptionists, done by AI. Speech writing can be done by AI. I find it scary. And if it grows like they say it's going to, I would have severe reservations of the Department of Defense having anything to do with AI, because we would be looking at Armageddon. They mistake one thing on a radar screen, and they don't have a flight controller who's in the seat sitting there. Identify yourself, la da 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 da, and understand there's communication issues. Okay, there should be checks and balances, yes, but it's honestly, and there is, intelligence in government is already artificial. We have Joe Biden for sure. You can tell how well that program's working. um, I don't like the idea of artificial intelligence. I don't. When I was a kid, sci-fi nerd and stuff like that, yeah, I thought it was really cool, have self-driving cars or flying cars or things like. Not if it has to do with AI. And don't get me wrong, to have the self-driving cars, to know where they're at, they have to know what the roads look like, have to be pre-installed, where every stoplight is, where every speed zone is, where all of that stuff has to come into play. And if I've noticed it a lot more, there are more cars going around that have a tripod on top with a 360-degree camera that's driving really slow down streets, and that's essentially Google Maps or Google Earth, where you know then that information gets put over into the autonomous side, gets downloaded, and that's how these cars are able to do this. My problem is, okay, one, to give you a little bit of background, I was an over the road truck driver for 13 and a half years. I've got 5.5 million miles in a truck driving down the road. You cannot tell me the autonomous vehicles know when there's a construction zone. And if they do know there's a construction zone and they figure that out, can they make that autonomous software react fast enough if a construction worker were to dart right across the cone line into traffic? What's it going to do? Because I know in places like Illinois and things like that, you hit a worker, it's $10,000 fine and or 10 years in prison if you kill them. Gerald said artificial intelligence or even earlier quote unquote expert systems have and will always have issues, too many errors and shortcuts in programming. Exactly. And see, this is the thing I have about the autonomous cars. And any autonomous big rig is this. It's a computer software system. They can get hacked. The last thing I want is, with all this human trafficking crap going on, is somebody to sit there and hijack a vehicle that nobody else is in. Nobody's driving the kid's school bus. It's the kids in the school bus. It automatically knows where to go and drives along, pulls off on a side shoulder and opens the door and lets the kidnappers in. I mean, there's endless things that could honestly possibly go wrong with AI, and I do not like it. So back to apps. These are apps that are still on your phone. You need to seriously look at them, because 2 days ago they let this slip that a lot of these phone apps are spying on people. It's written into their programming. So one of them is called Cam Scanner. Cybersecurity experts have found malicious components installed within the app's programming that acts as a Trojan downloader and keeps collecting infected files. This kind of app can seriously damage your phone, and should be uninstalled instantly and completely remove it. I'm talking remove it and then restart your phone. Other ones that have come up is weather apps. If it is AccuWeather, something like that, you'll be all right. If it's just an off-the-wall one, I would be hesitant. One of the biggest ones right now is called Good Weather. Delete it. It is severely, severely dangerous. They're recording phone calls, text messages, things like that. I've said it forever and ever. If you have your location turned on your phone and you use Facebook Messenger, or Instagram, turn it off, or go in to your settings and go under apps and permissions and make sure that none of these three can use your location, because they are sharing it. It's notorious for collecting data on you even when you're not using their service. Protect yourself, turn off your location. For the longest time, that's how human trafficking and kidnappings were going on, especially with the iPhones. Turn off your location. Um, I know I'm gonna get it for this one, but WhatsApp. It's a call to actions for all the users who are living and unaware of the vulnerabilities because of what was disclosed. Both the iPhone or Apple and Android versions allowed attackers to target users by simply sending a specifically crafted message to their phone. One successfully exploited the attackers would be granted access to the same things WhatsApp had access to, including microphone, camera, contact list, and more. Essentially, what is going on is there are people that know how to actually hack the system of this app right now. And what they are doing is randomly turning on your microphone, turning on your camera, looking at your contact list, and more. They can literally be sitting there and turn your camera on and you not know it. Um, so that is scary in and of itself. Flashlight apps. Every phone has a camera light on it. If you just look at the top of your phone, drag it down where all your settings are, there should be a flashlight already built in. Those you need only. Do not download any other flashlight app. They have ads that are built in, and they ask for certain permissions, such as audio recording, contact information, uh, to apparently function properly. When you install this, you're sharing all of your data with the developers who monetize the data by selling them to their advertisers. So essentially, they're going to get your information. They're going to get whoever else's information in your contacts. They can use audio recording on your phone if they want to, because you accepted the terms and conditions of which you're using the app. And you gave them permission, quote unquote, for it to run properly. So essentially, every person in your contacts, then they can sell to their people that they use for advertisers, and they can turn around, and that's where you start getting these cold calls from companies, and then also selling your data everywhere else. Please do not download this game. Do not download Angry Birds. The app has been leaking personal data like users' phone numbers, call log, home country, current location, even as to whether they are married or not. It it's horrible the way it's set up as far as permissions and what they give you access to. You do not need Angry Birds. It is very, very scary how horrible Angry Birds is written when you actually go in and look at some of the stuff that Angry Birds app has done and the stuff that they've sold, as far as quote unquote your information that you, when you agree to the terms and conditions, they take off your phone or whatever else you've been doing and then turn around and they make money selling it to people that are going to use that information against you. DoorDash. This goes for your iPhones. There is a DoorDash app out there that looks like DoorDash. It is very hard to tell them apart. So make sure when you're looking at your app to download it, it's got enough ratings, because DoorDash is a multi-conglomerate. You should have millions of reviews. You shouldn't just have 200 reviews, things like that. They're tracking off of iPhones with the Facebook and Instagram, and it shares other things more than personal data. It shows where they are going. It would show your home address. It would show where you want it delivered to. Everything. Do not want to have the wrong DoorDash app. Dating apps. These are in iPhones, but also in iOS or Apple, or excuse me, iOS is Apple and then Android. So there are ones out there that will collect 50% of your personal data. Now, keep in mind, Facebook takes the cake of personal data that they use at 70%. So this one is right up with it. They got names, email addresses, phone numbers, employment, even pet ownership status. What they want with that, I don't know. Beyond location and age data. 5 different dating apps experienced data breaches, leaking information from millions of profiles, putting their users at risk for phishing, phone scams, and identity theft. While 2 of the 5 on there were strictly for iPhone users, the top one, number one, that leaked over 50% of dating app profile personal information was Tinder. They had a data breach. If you use a Ring doorbell, make sure you are using a virtual IP address or a virtual protective network, VPN. The reason they found a way that Android app is hacked by third-party trackers to get names, IP address, mobile network carriers, persistent identifiers, and sensor data. And they're going to people's houses. Be very careful in the apps that you are using when it gets to this point and you're putting AI on top of it. And the ones that are helping develop AI, guess what? You're going to end up losing your job after you develop it, because you've developed the ultimate supercomputer that's going to continuously learn from you, and then turn around, you're going to be shoved out the door. Guess what? They're potentially going to become the ones that end up setting up the hacking AI, because they already know the weaknesses and how to get in from the inside. So that is it for this month as far as what's going on. Just depending what comes on in the next few weeks with everything coming out. Be careful out there, guys. This stuff is getting honestly scary, and I agree with Gerald. Like, there's a reason we have 3 lenses on our cell phones for a camera, and all these apps want all this permission. And if you want the app bad enough, you want to play the game bad enough, guess what? You're not going to read that tiny fine print that's going to take you 16 hours to finally read, and then you're going to have a lawyer explain it to you because it's all legal mumbo jumbo. You're going to click I accept terms, wait 10 seconds for it to download, enter in, share your location, whatever you need, and play the game. And that's how they are getting a lot of kids. It is insanely scary. So, without further ado, keep yourself safe. Watch your passwords. Any questions, get a hold of me. Get a hold of the Common Denominator Network. I will answer any questions. But for now, guys, Godfather out.